So thanks for tuning in and being here. We're going to go through, we have someone else is coming in, so we'll get them in here. We have myself from admissions. We have two alum that are going to share their stories and their experiences, just to give you a little more insight on what criminal justice means at Niagara and what it means to be a Niagara University student and what they did. And you can just learn a bit more about us through what they've done and their experiences. And we also have currently the chair of our criminal justice department, Dr. Talia Harmon, in here as well. So what I'll do at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Harmon for her to say a few words and for her to introduce herself.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle, and thanks for everybody for being here. Thank you, Marie and Jeff, our esteemed alumni, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And thank you for everybody, all the prospective students, for joining us today. As Kyle said, I'm Talia Harmon. I'm the chair of the Criminal Justice Department. I have been working at NU and teaching within the department for over 20 years now. And, it's just great to have you all here. We have a fantastic department, wonderful colleagues, very, very active researchers, active in service. And, I know that some of you have already tuned in, and I just can't say enough about the department and my colleagues. But I know you're here today to hear from Marie and Jeff. So I just thank you guys so much for your willingness to, come back, so to speak, come back to NU via Zoom and tell us about your experiences. And thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, I will provide my email address in the chat. And I will be here for the whole, for the whole session. If you have any questions for me, feel free to let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Harmon. I appreciate it. And what's really exciting today is, obviously we have two alumni that are super excited and to be able to kind of share their story. But for some just quick housekeeping items, everybody here has their camera off, I believe, and is on mute. Feel free to leave your camera on and off. It doesn't matter to us, but if you could just stay on mute, that way when our folks are speaking, we can hear everybody. It looks like everybody's doing a great job with that. But as Dr. Harmon said, if there's any questions at any point in time, feel free to use that chat box and you can type your questions right in there. And we'll be able to either answer them immediately, or we can definitely have questions at the end. So feel free to leave all those in there. So not only are we going to be able to give you some insight on the criminal justice program and who we are, but I think we should just jump right into it. I don't want to waste anybody's time in there. So I think we should turn it over, and Jeff, I think we'll come to you first, but why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, your choice, your experience with Niagara, and, take as much time as you want.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Swick. I currently work for the North Tonawanda Police Department in North Tonawanda, New York. I went to Niagara University from 2010 to 2014. I've lived in Niagara County my entire life. I went to Royalton Heartland High School, about 40 minutes from Niagara University. I've been given a list of things to talk about. I'd like to start off about why I chose Niagara. If you're looking at Niagara, it's a really great school for if you really would like a small school. It's a great school for walking. You can walk from any class to any class. Really beautiful campus. I enjoyed the small setting. I went to a small high school of like 100 students per grade. Niagara really fit that with me. I think we only have, I think it's like 2,100 undergrad. So it was a nice small school setting. Everybody knows 3,000. Well, yeah, okay, yep, with grad students, everybody. Everybody knows each other. It felt like a small family. I really liked the campus. A lot of my high school credits transferred to Niagara University, so I was actually able to graduate in 3.5 years. That was another reason I chose it. I liked all my professors. Just the whole school feels like a small family, and a really beautiful campus right next to the Niagara Gorge. You can go on great hikes. You got a 3-minute drive to Niagara Falls, 3-minute drive to Canada. Just the location's awesome, and being so close to home, it was nice that I could go home whenever I wanted to. My experience with the criminal justice program has been really great. I liked all my professors. Still friends with some of them. My even former bosses. I currently work for the North Tonawanda Police Department, but I work for Lewiston Police Department. One of the retired police chiefs from Lewiston currently works as a professor in the criminal justice department, Ron Winkley. He was super helpful. A lot of the professors are still people I talk to. I just talked to Dr. Rivera earlier today. Dr. Rivera is still active in research at Niagara University, and he's currently working with the Niagara Falls Police Department. So I had an opportunity to talk to him about that. I'm currently in grad school. I'm about half done with my master's degree. I've been going part-time while working the midnight shift. Been a police officer for about 8 years now. Kept in touch with some of the kept in touch with not only alumni that became police officers, but other professors. So Dr. Rivera, just an example, is involved in Niagara County. He's doing research right now about getting people off drugs and possibly trying a deferment program where the Niagara Falls Police Department, the Niagara County Sheriff's Office would be able to arrest somebody and start a diversion program where they can avoid jail time for like a shoplifting charge if we can prove that they are chemically dependent. And I had a chance to talk to him earlier today after one of my classes about that. So Niagara University is spearheading that research. So just because you leave Niagara and you go into law enforcement, there's still that Niagara connection. And I enjoy talking to professors about that. It's exciting research, and it's something I believe in. I like that we're focusing more on rehabilitation for certain drug offenders who could possibly avoid jail time and save the taxpayers money, and somebody who could avoid a 12-month jail sentence, for example, and enter drug rehab to end their chemical dependency. I lived on campus for, I'm just looking at things I'm supposed to be talking about here. I wasn't involved in any clubs. I was a resident advisor all 4 years. So I actually had my own room to myself, and I was in charge of different things on my floor, putting together programs and sitting the desk at night, welcoming new students during orientation. I really enjoyed living on campus. It was a small campus. I lived in O'Shea Hall my first year, Seton Hall my second year, and then my second 2 years I lived in Lynch Hall, which is closer to the gorge and has single rooms. I liked every single dorm I lived in. I thought the dorms were a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of people. Like I said, it's a really small family in Niagara. You get to know everyone, hanging out in the dining hall with my friends. Got to meet a lot of friends who were criminal justice majors, and got to meet a lot of friends who were other majors who I either met from being an RA, we call them CAs now, community advisors, or different people who were other majors, but I meet in the dining hall or who lived on my floor. The police academy was on campus. That was a huge plus for me. I was able to complete the police academy my junior year. So I actually got hired as a police officer 8 years ago after my junior year. So I was working part-time for a smaller police department while completing my senior year of college. And I just love Niagara. It gave me a lot of great opportunities, and the professors have all given me a lot of opportunities. I've kept in touch through my professional career and through my personal life also. It's a great spot. It's right next to the gorge. It's close to Niagara Falls and close to Lewiston, New York, which is a great small town to hang out in. Love living on campus. I'm still happy doing the master's program, about halfway done. Just another thing that I could brag on Niagara for. If you have 5 years experience in law enforcement as a police officer, I've been able to do the master's program at half price. It's a great scholarship they offer. A lot of people at my police department, the Niagara County Sheriff's Office, the Niagara Falls Police Department, and the New York State Police have taken advantage of that, being able to get a discount after you have 5 years on and complete the master's program. For me, it was a huge advantage to be able to do it part-time on my own schedule, having a crazy work schedule, working midnights for the past 8 years, and the price, being able to complete it at half price as a police officer. So, Kyle, I hope I didn't forget anything, but I think I covered everything on the list. But if anybody has any questions,
you did, which is awesome, and thank you for going through that. And what I like to hear, I mean, just specifically drawn out of your experience over the course of your 4 years. I mean, you were hired, you said, going into your senior year part-time. You were with Lewiston, right?
Yes.
And so what year did you start the Niagara County, the police academy? It was your junior year you started that?
It started my junior year while living on campus. So I didn't have that far of a commute to go and get yelled at every day and do push-ups and sit-ups. And which Marie can talk about being an ROTC, but there's always somebody running around campus, either in the police academy or in Army fatigues at the ROTC program. But I really enjoyed doing the police academy on campus. Some guys were driving from all over Western New York, and they were tired after getting screamed at all day and doing the police academy. But for me, it was a 30-second walk back to my dorm, and I really enjoyed that.
That's awesome. And I just want to bring up a point about that police academy. We are the only private school in New York State that has a law enforcement academy on our campus, which is just completely incredible. So if any of you are thinking law enforcement is definitely a place that you want to be, this is a nice opportunity. It's not mandatory. You don't have to go through this police academy. But as Jeff did, I mean, it's an opportunity you could take advantage, even your junior year and get through. And then the actual percentage is 97% of those who graduate that program go off and get hired into law enforcement. So it truly is a nice pipeline to be able to not only build yourself up and build your resume and have this pre-employment academy, but it's also we're helping you develop these connections and be able to kind of get out there and start getting employed. Now, since you've started working part-time, now you're working full-time, how do you feel, going into it? Do you see yourself sticking in law enforcement right now? Just curious, or do you, where do you see yourself? You staying in Western New York, or?
I think the goal right now is I like my career. I love my job. I plan on staying with North Tonawanda Police as long as possible, 20, 25 years. I just want to complete my master's degree so that I can maybe move up in my own department, get promoted, and then hopefully someday when I retire, I can be an adjunct either at Niagara or a local college and just stay in the Western New York area.
That's awesome. And now I have a completely different question. Going back, you said I was a community advisor too. I think that's honestly, Jeff, when we first met, I was a CA on duty and you came back. I think you were at Lewiston and you came in and you were just strolling through, checking things out. Yeah. But do you feel that being like a CA on campus was like a good kind of, as you're working through kind of your social skills, like working with people, like, was that something that you felt that was like valuable experience, or didn't kind of play into what you're doing now?
It actually was like a great preparation for my job because you had to like enforce rules, but you really didn't have too much authority. So, telling somebody, you can't have a 30-person party in their room. Of course, that won't happen with COVID now, but telling people on your floor they can't have a 30-person, rager on your floor with, a big party, that's no different than me going to a noise complaint now as a police officer. So it's like conflict resolution, two roommates can't get along, sometimes we have to go to calls of two people who live together who can't get along. So it's very similar. It was nothing but preparation for my future career. So I really enjoyed the job. It was a lot of fun. And it's a great compensation to be a CA. Being a community advisor almost covers your entire room and board living. So I highly recommend it. It's a great job. And you got your own room, you got to make great friends, and it was just a really great job to have on campus to help pay for college.
And you get to work with Mama Rowe over in the residence life.
Yeah, Rosanna Macri is the administrative assistant in that office. She's the office administrator, and she's the sweetest lady who's ever lived. And just made a lot of great friends at Niagara, and I still stop in and visit her as often as possible.
Awesome. Jeff, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really do.
If anybody has any questions before we're done, I'll be happy to answer them about law enforcement or about Niagara University or about the police academy. Doesn't matter.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff. So now I'm gonna bring up Marie here, and hopefully she's not too nervous as she's going through here. She's Marie and I are we were friends while we were on campus together as we were going through here, and we're both criminal justice majors. Marie was older than me in the classroom, but we never even knew each other until we studied abroad together through criminal justice, and that's when we got to become friends, and we seriously have been friends just because of that 2-week trip afterwards, and we've stayed in touch, and I'm super happy that you're able to jump on here. But Marie, I'm super thankful that you're able to come and join us today. I think if there's anybody that knows that this is a perfect spot for me in admissions, it's Marie.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Niagara and I love being able to share, but criminal justice definitely has a nice spot in my heart. But as I was going through and thinking of alumni that really represent the program, that really have gone on to become successful and really are a nice representation of the university, I couldn't think of anybody else. So Maria, I'm happy that you're here. I appreciate it. And I just want to hear from you and you can share everybody. So I'll give you the space.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Marie Olszewski. I'm currently serving in the U.S. Army as a captain, and I branched aviation right out of Niagara University, ROTC. For anybody that's not familiar with that program, you basically do 4 years in the military ROTC program, which stands for Reserve Officer Training Corps. And then at the end of your time, you graduate with your bachelor's degree from Niagara, and then you can go off and serve in the Army as a commissioned officer in your branch of choosing. Like I said, mine was aviation, so I'm actually a UH-60 Black Hawk pilot, and then I also serve as a company commander currently, which means I'm basically in charge of the health and welfare and training of about 160 soldiers or so. So as far as my time at NU, it's a little bit different than Jeff's since I guess my path after NU is different than Jeff's since I didn't, go the law enforcement or criminal justice route really, because I am still in the Army and I have been since 2016. So I went to Niagara from 2012 to 2016. And like Kyle said, I was a criminal justice major and I had minors in military studies for ROTC and then also international studies, which I really enjoyed both of those minors, especially the international studies side of things. It just kind of gave me a broader perspective on the world while also focusing on criminal justice. Let's see, I'm also going down the list like Jeff did. So clubs, I was on the club field hockey team all 4 years. I was captain my senior year, and that was awesome. Club sports are an awesome experience because you don't have quite as big of a commitment as the D1 teams do, but you still get to have the experience of continuing to play whatever sport you're doing, and then also meeting a lot of people that are awesome. And they're, everybody has their own background. You're all in different majors. Maybe the only thing you have in common is that sport. So it was a really fun way to meet a lot of cool people. I was also in the College Libertarians for a little while, which was a, kind of a political club. I don't know if it's still up and going at NU or what. Let's see. So kind of like what Jeff said, the best part about the criminal justice program, I thought, was the professors and their accessibility, I would say, so it was really easy to connect with all of the professors and the students as well, but it was really easy to go to professors in office hours and get any help that you needed. And then they were also all really understanding of like any situations that would come up because of ROTC, because we would have a lot of, training events and things like that. And they were all really understanding if we were too busy or couldn't meet a deadline or whatever, everyone would kind of adapt and help us out, which was awesome. Let's see. So along with the study abroad that I did with Kyle, which was definitely a really cool experience, we went to the Netherlands for about 2 weeks and got to study over there and see how their justice system worked. That was awesome. I also did a ride along with, I think it was through Professor Winkley, but it was with the Lewiston Police Department, which was a really cool experience because I got to basically just go sit in the back of the cop car and ride along and see what they did at whatever shift I could go to, whether it was a day shift or a night shift. Obviously, you would see different things. So that was a really cool experience. But I think, let's see, what else was I supposed to talk about? Oh yeah, so for time on campus, I also lived on campus all 4 years. I started in Clay Hall, and I think I moved to Seton for a semester, and then I went to Varsity Village for a year, and then Clay, and then Varsity Village. So I kind of lived in all over the place. But Kyle, I don't know, how are they doing Varsity Village now? Did they go to the themed houses, or what's going on there?
We still have some themed houses, but then there's still the ROTC houses that we have on campus as well, which is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Varsity Village was awesome. That was a really cool experience. You got to just basically pick, I think it was like 10 people or something like that, maybe 14. And you all just like shared a little house, which was a lot of fun because you had a little bit more autonomy than the dorms did, which was really cool, especially as you got older. And as a senior, you weren't living anywhere near a bunch of freshmen, which is fine, but you're having different experiences. So it was nice to just live with those people that you chose, which was really cool. But yeah, it was overall a really good experience on campus for sure. All the housing was really good. And I don't know if any of these prospective students are looking to do ROTC, but one of the major benefits, and Kyle kind of hit on this with the financial side of things, is if you get an ROTC scholarship through the United States Army, that will cover your tuition to Niagara. But then Niagara covers your room and board, which was really awesome for us. So it basically, it made it a full ride to college, which was really cool. So it just shows like how much support Niagara had for the ROTC program, which was awesome because it could be difficult at times. Overall positive experience, but obviously very different than the traditional college experience. So that was really nice. Let's see. I think one thing for me that I gained out of being a criminal justice major that I wanted to hit on was obviously you learn a lot about criminal justice as a whole and our current system in the United States, but I also think on a personal level, it kind of gives you the opportunity to really develop a sense of empathy for your fellow citizen, which especially, you know, nowadays, just like the current climate, I think that's really important. And for me in the Army, you know, constantly working with people from all different backgrounds, it was awesome. The understanding I gained about, you know, what people experience and how their experiences lead them to become the people that they are. I think I learned a lot about that in the criminal justice degree at Niagara, which was awesome and has definitely served me well in the Army working with all sorts of different people. I don't know, Kyle, did I miss anything?
You're sounding great.
Cool. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I guess if anybody has any questions, especially about the ROTC thing, you know, my route was a little less traditional than Jeff's because, to be honest, I don't, you know, currently work with anything to do with, you know, the justice system since I'm in the Army. But like I said, it's super applicable how much you learn about just human beings and how they operate and how our country got to be where it is today, because the justice system plays a huge role in that. So.
One thing that I want to keep talking about too is we went on the study abroad trip and it was a lot of fun, but study abroad, none of us have really been able to travel and go anywhere. Yeah. So talking about study abroad, I think can maybe cover a little bit of that travel bug for a minute. But what's nice about our criminology criminal justice program is there's different study abroad trips that you can go on traditionally each year. There's 3 different trips. Marie and I went on the same one. But what's nice about Niagara as a whole is we have a lot of these study abroad trips for only 2 weeks. So they're in May after graduation would be or after classes end. And then you go and you travel for 2 weeks. But Marie and I, we took it as there's a class before you go. Mm-hmm. So as you're sitting in that class, what do we need? Once every 2 weeks, I think it was, something like that.
It was not like a huge commitment by any means. And
then once we meet, so you get to meet everybody that you're going on the trip with for the whole semester. Every 2 weeks you meet up, but then you do group projects, and we're doing projects of where we're going, what we're doing. So when we get there, we're prepared. We have questions. We have an understanding of what's going on. But then it was really, really awesome to be able to just comparative justice, learning how the rules, laws, regulations were just so different. My favorite thing Marie always to talk about since then is like how they've had that pink and blue unit, that rose and blau unit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Specifically for the LGBTQ plus community, which was just so mind blowing to me. I'm like, would that ever work here in the United States? It works for them. But there's just so many different opportunities that you can learn about and see through these study abroad trips, which our criminal justice department just does so well. And we want to make sure that those trips are affordable and that they can go. So quick 2-week trips. They're super nice, and criminal justice isn't the only department that offers those trips, but we have at least 3 that we rotate through every single year.
Yeah, and like you said about the pink and blue unit, that's what I mean when I say like the criminal justice degree really offers you that sense of understanding, because having that pink and blue unit, that's completely different than something we would have in America, and it's not anything like, you know, like I've ever seen before, and I'm sure you hadn't either. And just there, obviously, I think most people know that Amsterdam is, you know, it has legalized drugs and all of those things, and just really gaining an understanding of how that affects a society was a really cool experience that I don't think you can really gain as much from the classroom. Whereas if you go on that trip, and like you said, it was extremely affordable, even for, you know, broke college students or whatever you want to call us. It was a really awesome experience. I definitely recommend that to anybody that goes to school.
Yeah, absolutely. The study abroad was really nice, and we try to encourage every single one of you to join and go on a study abroad trip. We just hope that we can get back to that point and that we be able to travel again, hopefully sometime soon. So Marie, I mean, just for the notes, I mean, you're all the way out. Where did you say you were? Kentucky?
So let's see, from Niagara, I went to Kentucky I probably had to live there for like 2 months for some training. From Kentucky, I moved to Alabama for 18 months. Then from Alabama, I moved to Kansas, where I lived for about a year. And from Kansas, I went to Germany I was in like a few different countries, but mostly Germany for about 10 months. And then I came back from Germany, and I'm back in Kansas, where I live currently. And then in about a year, I have to go back to Alabama. So I'm all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place, but hey, that's awesome. I mean, you've definitely been moving around. I specifically remember us just hanging out one day. It was hot outside. I think we were outside of Varsity Village. And, you know, you were just talking about, you know, flying helicopters, and that's exactly what you want to do. And that's where you wanted to go. Can I just quickly, just as a subtle break, can you just tell us what it means to be branch aviation and how big of a deal that is?
Yeah, so I guess there's probably a lot to explain about ROTC that I don't even realize isn't like easy to understand. But so in your ROTC class, let's say there's 10 people at Niagara, you know, and that would be, I think, probably about an average size, maybe 15. And then across the country, there's hundreds of programs. So when you're a senior, you basically put in for what you want to branch, as they call it, and that's your job in the Army. And there's all sorts of branches, from the traditional, what you think of as a soldier, to aviation, to going into the medical field. I think Niagara recently brought back its nurse program for ROTC, which is a huge and really awesome opportunity. If anybody's looking to be a nurse and is also interested in the military, that's a really great route to go. So yeah, like I said, you put in for what you're hoping to do for the Army, and based off of where you fall amongst your peers, not only in your own school, but across the country, then you'll get selected for that branch and that component as well. So my component is active duty, which is like, you know, full-time Army. It's what I do every day. But you can also go into the reserves or the National Guard, which is like a more part-time kind of situation. So you would go and get like a regular job. That's a really pretty common route. I think a lot of people go, you know, National Guard or reserves, and then they serve in law enforcement is really common. Jeff, I don't know if you've got any peers that are also like in the Guard or reserves, but I know that's a pretty common thing. Yeah. And so for branching aviation is definitely, it's a hard branch to get, you know, not to toot my own horn, but like I said, I think, so I was top in my class at Niagara, and then I was in the top 10% of the country. And I think a big part of that, though, is like I was talking about, that relationship you have with professors, because it would be extremely difficult to succeed in college the way that I was able to without a lot of support from professors, and good professors that are there to help you along. Like I said, I remember going to professors and being like, hey, I realize you have a paper due on whatever day. I'm going to be gone for a week before then. You know, can I get a little assistance on that or whatever? And like I said, they're all really understanding. And so through that and through those relationships, I was able to do really well in school, which allowed me to, like I said, get my top choice of aviation. And now here I am today, fly a helicopter. So.
Marie, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I mean, to come on here and be able to share your story, you're so awesome, and happy we're able to kind of see you face to face. It's been so long.
I know it.
Thank you. Let's see here. So as you can see, we've gone through, we've heard from both of our alumni in two totally different paths. And now what's nice and kind of a chiseled down on this criminal justice program is it's very flexible. There's so many different areas of criminal justice. And today we've just covered two, you know, going into law enforcement and then also following that ROTC path that some of our students do. So this is a flexible program that can lead you in all different areas. And I really like to, you know, there's two totally different routes here that each alumni have taken. But what's really nice is that our professors, they're able to support you and able to kind of help you achieve your goals when you get here. So, you know, when you get to campus, you can sit down with your advisor, and each and every single one of you, when you get to this campus, are going to have a full-time advisor. Your advisor is going to be the same advisor all 4 years, and it's going to, like I said, a full-time faculty member. So you're going to have that advisor you meet with at least once a semester on our campus. Niagara University, we have the highest graduation rate in Western New York, and I truly think it comes down to advisement. And I think meeting with your advisor and planning for the future is really that nice step that sets you up for success and gets you where you want to go, but ultimately helps you make sure that you graduate on time. But when you get here, you can say, this is where I want to end up. I want to end up in law enforcement. Or I want to follow this ROTC path, and this is where I want to go. Or I want to end up, you know, more with the forensic side of things. Or I want to work specifically I want to add social work. There's so many different opportunities and so many different areas for you to go and follow into. A lot of students fall into going into law and law school. So whatever it is, wherever you think you're going, what you're doing, our criminal justice program isn't just set for one specific area. Everybody comes in, everybody has different goals. And I think that's what's so awesome. And you'll hear continuously, no matter where any student ends up, when they come back, they continuously keep complimenting the faculty. Our department, our professors, they're absolutely amazing. You love talking to them. You love going to see them, going to class. You're going to start taking classes right away as a freshman, but I call that the get out of bed effect. You're excited to go and you want to keep learning. I remember just writing essays in the class, and I just like, oh, my shoulder was hurting because I was just writing the pen so hard that you're excited to just learn about it. So we've gone through a lot, and we've covered a lot of information here, specifically about criminal justice. I haven't seen any questions come through on the right-hand side, but if you do have any questions, feel free to fire away. But I'm not sure if Dr. Harmon is still, if she's back here or not. If she was, I know she said she's going to turn her camera off for a second. But we really appreciate all of you tuning in and being able to hear from our alumni. And I'm just going to keep talking until I see one question. I feel like someone has one question in there they're just afraid to ask. You can also send it to me privately if you're worried. But what's nice is we've covered a lot of things. We have that ROTC program that you can go in, that you could follow. We have the Law Enforcement Academy that's on our campus. And then we have all these different opportunities for internships and study abroad. And specifically, if you wanted to come in and you wanted to start researching right away, as Jeff was saying earlier, you could come in and you can research right along with our faculty. And 50% of our freshman class typically come in and they start researching right away. So there's a lot of different opportunities for all these different angles for you to really kind of tackle and cover throughout the course of your 4 years here. And what's nice is I was able to get a list of each of you that were in attendance today. It looks like the majority of you have completed your application. There was just, I think one of you were still waiting on a secondary, Disha, I think we're waiting on a secondary transcript for you. So just, if you have any questions or if you want to connect with anybody in admissions, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box. That way, if you have any questions about wrapping up your application, the status of your application, feel free, you can direct those questions to me. I did send a text to everybody before the event. So that is my cell phone number. All of you have that. If you need anything, you can go from there. Dr. Harmon, I see you turned your camera back on, but do you have any final words that you want to say for everybody here?
Yeah, I am so sorry.
You're good.
Dr. Taylor was actually going to be here, and then he had a death in the family. So he was unable to make it. But yeah, I was still trying to take care of my kids, and I was listening to your stories, and I am just so proud of both Jeff and Marie for everything that they've done. I am so proud of NU, and I'm so proud of you guys. It just makes me so happy. I just, can't wait for things to get back to normal. But, I think that, you guys hit on the high points of the department, the Law Enforcement Academy, the study abroad, all of the wonderful opportunities that both of you, were able to do while you were at NU, and just the amazing things that you're currently doing just makes us so proud. And, to the prospective students, if you have any questions, again, please let me know. Our faculty are so diverse. We have the law enforcement track. We also have, a victimologist, courts. We have, pure think tank researchers, statisticians. We have a lot. I teach the law courses, which I love. We have a very, very strong pre-law program. I always like to mention. And, I just hope to see you guys. And if you have any questions at all, Kyle, thank you once again for putting on a great event. And everyone take care, everyone be safe and healthy, and hope to see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, Marie and Jeff, it was so awesome to see you. I really appreciate taking your time out of your day and being able to kind of share your story with us. Dr. Harmon, thank you so much. Other than that, I think we'll call that a day, and we'll let everybody get back to what you're doing. So thank you so much, and see everybody later.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers to 2021.
Yeah, to a better year.
Yeah, and go Bills, right?
Yes, go Bills. Absolutely, go Bills. All right, take care.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.